It's showtime, folks. Welcome in Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game on this Monday. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your day. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos with his old school St. Louis Cardinals hat on today. Don't like the Cardinals, but I like the hat.
It's a nice suede hat.
It's a good hat.
They make a Braves one too.
I know. Oh, I think I have one somewhere. It's good. What's up, JoJo? How you doing?
What's happening, man? Oh, I'm still recovering after that titillating football game yesterday, which had me on the edge of my seat.
Look, I got to ask a question because I feel like, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like I'm a pretty good person, right? I'm good to people. Is that accurate?
I'd say that.
That's
fair.
Good. I don't know what I did to upset various people because I kept being offered Titans Jags tickets, and I'm like, what did I do to upset you that you would do that to me? But
do you have a laugh track back there?
I know we need it. We need our studio audience to laugh.
telling you right now, and some people have clapped back at me on Twitter, which I don't care. That was the worst football game I've ever seen in Nissan Stadium. That was the worst football game in 25 years that this team has been in Nashville as the Titans, 1999 season. That was the worst football game. That was the worst prepared, worst performance on both sides of the ball football game I've ever seen. And the Houston game now confuses me even more.
Well, it is the definition of any given Sunday and crazy things happen in the National Football League. You know who I feel bad for? So if you go to TennesseeTitans.com, the first thing that pops up is 6 things that stood out. I feel bad for Jim Wyatt because he had to write that crap. He had to sit through that and then figure out what stood out. 6 things that stood out. I feel bad for Jimmy on that.
I'm shocked their website works. There's everything with that team is just bad. And then Callahan to come out and gloss over it like, a lot of positives today. Like the only positive is that the game ended. That was the only positive. So I was torn, and I got this question. I want to hear from our audience today about on the day after the season ends, January the what? What's the first thing you want to see? If you were the GM or you're a fan, what's the first thing you want to see happen? I'm telling you, nothing's going to happen.
I don't know.
Nothing's going to happen.
I think something's going to happen.
Because I'll tell you why. If you bounce everybody out of there, I think Callahan, I was kind of like, he's over his head again.
Oh.
He's over his head again. Take the Houston game out of this. He's over his head again. Then you got a new coach come in, right? You got 3 seasons. Look, that stadium, and you're going to laugh at me and tell me I'm stupid. That stadium weighs on her mind, the new stadium.
I think everything should weigh on her mind.
So you want momentum going into that stadium. If you give him another year, see what happens. Then you get 2 years of another coach rolling into that.
Hang on.
It's bad.
Let's just put this in very simple terms for a second. So we can sit here and we can say that she caused a lot of this because she did.
Oh, yeah.
When she fired John Robinson, I know you all are tired of hearing about that, but it's the truth. That sent this thing into a tailspin that they haven't been able to pull out of.
Correct.
But she's paying a general manager to not be a general manager. She's paying a coach to not be a coach. She spent a crap ton of money this offseason, and you say what you want about the cap. She still spent a lot of money to acquire new players. Half of them aren't playing because they're hurt. She's paying a new regime that's in here. And what does she have to show for it? She just saw her team play one of the worst, if not the worst games at that stadium that we've seen at least in the last 20 years.
Oh, back up. You want me to feel sorry that some billionaire?
Nope. I'm not saying feel sorry for it.
All right. Okay. Let's check.
What I'm saying is you're saying that nothing's going to happen. If I'm her, whether I'm a billionaire or not, I've spent all this money. I'm going, wait a minute. This is what I'm paying for? But and she's shown in the past that she has a quick reaction when things don't go well.
But you expect her to do rational things. These people don't live in a rational world. These billionaires. She doesn't. All she has around him are yes people. Miss Amy, that's good. I fired John Robinson. Well, you should have.
Right.
I fired Mike Vrabel. You should have.
Yeah.
Where's it like, what are you doing?
And what did John McClain say about a month and a half ago about Bud when we said, are you seeing similarities between her and Bud? And he still says no, but he said the thing with Bud was he started listening to the wrong people.
Yeah.
And guess what? I think she's listening to the wrong people. And I love the comparison that, and I'll give Jared credit for this, but the comparison of, is Mike Vrabel going to be her Bum Phillips?
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, because I think we can agree that the biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes that Bud ever made, was firing Bum Phillips.
Right.
The second one might be firing Floyd Reese, but we can debate that all day long.
I think Callahan's in over his head now. They were woefully unprepared yesterday. He
bad. He has a bad roster.
He doesn't. I just don't think he knows what he's doing. And to compare Dan Campbell to Brian Callahan, how asinine and stupid is that?
Yeah,
Dan Campbell was 1,000 times better when they were bad. You could see his passion and what he was doing and letting other people kind of help him along the way. Callahan is just, I think, again, don't hire a first-time coach. First-time head coach, don't hire this. That makes sense? Don't hire a first-time head coach. Find a guy who's been through the ringer, man.
I don't know. I still kind of sit and I go, what does this look like with a good, competent roster? What does Will Levis look like with a good offensive line? Because here's the other thing. He didn't play his best game yesterday. He definitely had an off game. I'll give him that. But he had some misses, but he had some receivers drop the ball, and he had dumb penalties by the offensive line. One that cost him a touchdown.
I'm all in on Levis.
Yeah, and so
all in.
I can sit here and I can say it wasn't his best game, and then here's the other thing that I'm going to put on the head coach. Into the half, what in the blue hell are you doing? Trying to throw a Hail Mary. Take the damn knee and go into the locker room. You got the dude killed. His shoulder was messed up the rest of the game.
Where was the ball? I was skipping back.
I mean, it was like midfield. So, I mean, hypothetically, you could take a shot.
I don't blame him for that. Block the guy.
No, you don't have an offensive line to do that.
Block him. So if you have no offensive line, are you saying don't do anything then? Just go out
and
punt
that's
on
exactly
first down?
No, I'm saying take the knee and go to the locker room.
Maybe your guy could block. Maybe you have hope in your guy could block.
But you've seen this crap all year, Joe.
So what do you do then?
You take the knee and you go to the locker room.
By your analysis,
and you don't get the quarterback
punt on first down. Be done with it.
This team doesn't have the talent to overcome things.
So you're saying wave the white flag?
I'm saying take the knee and go to the locker room. Don't get the quarterback hurt.
How do you know
they got the quarterback hurt on a stupid play that you didn't have to make?
I respectfully disagree.
That's
for
fine.
shots.
You can look. Usually, I would agree with you, but they don't have an offensive line. When you don't have an offensive line, you're not going to have time to drop back and throw a Hail Mary.
Who gave up the sack? Latham?
I think it was Latham
from the left side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, which is concerning, but I mean, he got absolutely bulldozed and he got hurt, and it showed the rest of the game. Now, look, there were a lot of other things that went wrong as well, but I'm not doing that at that point, knowing what this team is. You don't have enough talent to overcome those little things, but we got a lot of time to discuss. 10-6, the loss. I'm sorry if you sat and watched that whole game like I did. I was like, I got to watch this because we got to talk about it.
Right.
But it's just like, good Lord, this was terrible. I think it's going to be a miracle, Dr. Crane, if we get through this without one of us saying a cuss word, but
it's all right.
We'll see.
We got a dump button.
Yeah, we do. Because I've come close already. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, as you can react to the ugly, ugly Titans game that we had yesterday. The defense too. I mean, like they can't get a big stop on fourth down. Like they were talking about that they're the worst team in the league on fourth down.
I don't give me a positive on this team. I'm being honest. Give me a positive.
Special teams was better yesterday. I don't know.
Still outkicked your coverage by 15 yards.
Uniforms look pretty good.
Yeah. And then you get booed at home in front of 20,000 people that were left there.
I don't know if there was 20,000 there, Joe.
At the end, probably. They're in. I mean, there's some loyal. My brother stayed to the end. He's a loyal Titans fan.
It looked bleak on the television. Like
that entire game.
It was all over the television. Just you see the colors of the seats. It was bad.
They just got big problems, and I don't know if Amy knows what to do. And I don't know if by firing Callahan is the answer or firing the GM and you start over. I don't know.
That's the other thing. Like I pretty much midseason said I think they need a new GM. I don't know if I trust her to go get the right one.
Who's the GM now? I mean, who's calling the shots? I don't even know.
By title, it's Ran Carthon.
If I'm Ran, I'm like, hey, man, I didn't do this. I just take that title off. I don't want anything to do with this football team right now.
Could do like some people I know and blame somebody that worked there 8 years ago.
And they owe Ridley tens of millions of more dollars. I mean, what does this guy do?
Look, they overpaid Ridley
massively.
We said they overpaid Ridley when they did it.
Yep.
Ridley's not the problem.
But you got that money. That's
sure,
in him.
You do. But I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and nitpick Calvin Ridley. He is what it is.
Is he the highest paid receiver in the league or one of top 5?
He might be top 5. But
okay.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, man, you give these guys these massive contracts, they're done. They're done.
No, but I don't think he's done. Like I actually I've seen dumb plays
because he's like, maybe I got to catch a ball here.
But I've also seen some effort too. I just look. They're at the end of the day.
What'd you just say?
At the end of the day, this is not a good team.
Seen some effort.
Yeah,
some.
But at the end of the day, this is not a good football team.
No,
they're just not.
No, they're not. They're terrible.
And the sooner you come to terms with that, the better off you're going to be. They're not a good team. And so what do you do moving forward to make them a good team? They're not going to be a good team this year.
No. Let me ask you this. How do you get this bad? I mean, how do you get
I don't know.
Are there not signs? Like you don't wake up 40 pounds overweight one day and like, oh my God, I'm overweight.
Yeah,
that takes time.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get this fat overnight. It took me a couple years to do this. How do you not recognize and understand like this isn't good? And then hit you in the face, you're 3-10. Like we got nowhere to go. I have no hope of them winning any of these games left out of it.
Your bad habits become a norm, Joe. That's how you get to where you're at right now.
That's a good point. Look at you, man. You're Dr. Crane, Dr. Phil.
Just trying to do my job.
Dr. Phil Good.
Hey,
Dr. Phil Good.
Yes. There you go. But yeah, your terrible habits become a norm.
Yeah, basically. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll have Brett Eldridge tickets to qualify you for. We're going to be doing that all week, so be listening for your cue to call for that. But we'll take your reaction to the Titans debauchery, whatever, yesterday. 10-6, the final. Jacksonville comes in here. And the whole time, even though they were leading barely, I was going, they're going to find a way to screw this up. And guess what? That's the one disappointment we didn't have. They didn't let us down.
That's right. They got it done. A friend of mine said that Amy Adams should put billboards in Cincinnati and say, hey, Bengals fans, it's only a short drive to Nashville. That way you get more Bengals fans coming down here on Sunday. Because Titans fans, they have they're checking out, man, in large numbers.
They're checked out for sure. We'll get more of your reaction coming up next. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
didn't score a touchdown against arguably the worst team in the league. A lot of positive things is the first thing you take from that?
I wasn't talking about the touchdowns. We need to score touchdowns in the red zone, certainly. Didn't do enough good on offense to be able to score points, and we lost the game. So, yeah, there's positive things to point out, but ultimately we didn't score enough points to win, so that is what it is.
So I turn to the guy, and I says to him, I've completely forgotten what the hell I came here for in the first place, Kevin. I got nothing. Zip.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 the game. Titans lose 10-6 to the Jags yesterday. It was Brian Callahan, a little follow-up with Kuharski. And look, I'm going to say this, about Paul. I mean, he's going to be straight to the point. He's going to be brash. But good on him for being the one, like, you're going to get up there and say you saw a lot of positives and you couldn't even score a touchdown against the worst team in the league.
Yeah, and you don't have to talk. I mean, the Titans got a PR staff, right?
Yeah.
Just say, look, man, go out there, say bare minimum. It was a bad day. Get out as quick as you can.
Yeah, the previous guy was really good at that.
Yeah.
Go out there, be like, yeah, we lost.
But to come out and say there's positives after that train wreck we saw yesterday, I think he's over his head. I think he matured as a play caller.
I don't know if that's over his head or if that's just.
I think it's all over his head.
He's just trying to be too glass half full, and he just can't do that here. Well, that just isn't going to work at this point.
I agree. He's matured a little bit as a play caller. Okay, I mean, you put guys in positions, they got to make plays.
Yeah.
But again, you hired a guy who had never called a play in the NFL. I don't give a damn how many meetings he sat in with Joe Burrow. Brian Callahan never called a play in the NFL to become a head coach of the Titans. And y'all all sit here and like, oh, he'll be fine. He was in the meetings. And no, he called no plays. And you wonder why you're 3-10? He put the team in some bad situations.
You think that's the only reason why they're 3-10?
I think it's a large part of it. He's the head coach.
I think the crappy roster is a large part of it.
Well, I mean, that's not his fault. You play the players you got. But we go back to training camp. That first day in pads, when Jeffrey Simmons should have been ejected, and he said, no. We're going to take the nice guy approach here. The nice guy approach gets your ass fired, right? That's what happens.
Yeah.
You come in and you lay the law down. That we were there that day, Chase. We talked about it at camp. That was 4 months ago, and nothing's improved. He's just too nice. I don't think he has that anger to be a head coach. And I'm seeing a 3-10 team, and you come out and you say, well, we had some positives today. What? You kicked off on time? Is that right? Nick Folk should be your MVP. That's what I'm going with.
I think Nick
right
Folk
now.
might make the Pro Bowl. I mean, seriously.
It's pretty
That's
good.
your positive. 3747-615-737-1025. This season, we added more players that were considered good, great before they got here, and had guys on this station saying they're going to be competitive. At some point, it's not on the roster. I mean, I think both can be true. I think we also said, I know I said, I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but I know what I said. I liked the moves they made, but they still have some glaring holes because you can't fill them all in one off season. So whether you want to pay attention to that or not, I don't know, but that was the truth. Now, I do agree there are other things. Look, I'm not disagreeing with you that he was in over his head. There's no doubt. It was very apparent he was a rookie head coach that had never called plays. Very, very apparent.
Yeah.
I do think he's gotten better at the play calling aspect. I do wonder about the head coach part and the leading part. But I don't think he has a very good roster either. So all of that compounded, if you have him, all right, prime example. We said for a long time, Matt LaFleur lucked into the job with Green Bay, and the only reason he was having success was because of Aaron Rodgers, right?
Agreed.
I think we're seeing now he's actually a pretty good coach. I mean, what he's done with Jordan Love, developing Jordan Love. Jordan Love's not Jordan Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers.
Let's hope not.
Wrong Rodgers. He's not Aaron Rodgers, but he's looked pretty good, has he not?
Yes. And they've surrounded him with some good talent up there.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Brian Callahan's a good coach. Right now, I mean, he's not. But you give him a good roster, who knows?
Hell, stop that. Please stop. Look at roster. You and I could do this.
Well, of course we could.
Right. A good coach brings
Be a great
out
O-line coach.
I don't want to I'm OC.
Okay.
I'm OC.
That's fine.
We're going for it all the time.
We're going to run the run and shoot, aren't we?
We are just hell we are. And then we're going to switch it up, have a whole new line come in and be power attack. I can do this. I think I'm on a train of thought here. Look, a good coach brings out the good in you, brings out the motivate. You want to run through a wall. I mean, look through history. The great coaches are the ones that motivate these guys and get these guys fired up and going and going and going. I think 3/4 NFL right now have terrible head coaches. I do. I really do. Those days of you playing and you just worshiping your head coach will do anything for me. I think those days are gone, man. I really do. Now, Andy Reid, they love playing for Andy Reid.
Yep.
They really do. I mean, and of course he's got Mahomes. I understand all that. But you going down like Mike McDaniel, those guys, the Dolphins are now playing their way back into this. I mean, they play for these coaches that they really love and admire. I'm not sure how much they love and admire Brian Cowher. I don't know. I don't know that.
Let's go to the phones. A lot of you want to weigh in. Mark will lead us off. Mark, what's up?
What's up, Chase? How you doing, Big Joe?
What's up, man?
Hey, Chase, Big Joe, that's an undisciplined team over there. I thought, and by the way, that was the lowest scoring game in the NFL this year. I thought Callahan made a huge mistake when he went for it on 4th and whatever down there in the red zone. You should have took the points. I mean, you're already struggling to get points. You should have took the points on that situation. I thought Levis, on some of Callahan's play calling, I think he was throwing into double coverages a lot. It's almost like they knew the plays that the Titans was running. Every time you looked over, they had 2-3 defenders around the ball. That wasn't good. Is he good as a play caller? I really don't think so. I'm like Big Joe. He's never been a play caller before.
Nope.
And it's really showing. I mean, it's showing. It's like Big Joe said, a good coach. I don't care if you got the worst roster in the world. They're going to play better and harder for you than the Titans ever have been doing. The 3 first-round draft choices are haunting them, Chase and Big Joe.
Yep.
The bust. All those busts they've drafted. Their pro personnel department is pretty sorry. They're not drafting the right kind of players and stuff for this team. And if you ask me, when are the brown bags coming out, man? I mean, when are we going to start wearing brown grocery bags out there at the Titan Stadium? Because, look, they're going to go into that new stadium. It's going to take a long time for this team to get right, Chase and Big Joe. Several drafts. They got to stay away from free agency. It's really hurt them this year, all that money. For the last couple of years, you never, ever addressed the offensive line, which is a joke. You don't know who called the shots, Rand or whoever. Tony Pollard had a touchdown that could have put points on the board. What happened? You had a holding call. They're playing undisciplined football. That's on Callahan. That's on him to do that and make this team better. I don't know if he's that guy or not. You can't tell what you got with Levis because he has nothing around him. He just really doesn't have a lot around him to showcase his skills and know what kind of quarterback he could be in the future. And if you look at, I really think Chase, he plays gun shy now. He's afraid to make a mistake. He's looking over his shoulder. You could tell the first went on the sideline and threw his helmet under the bench.
Yeah.
That's a frustrated team right now, man. It really is. And I don't know, you may have to clean house, but, man, they're going to have to hire a coach and get a coach in there that's got the experience, an offensive coordinator who called plays before Zach Taylor called plays in Cincinnati. We all know that.
Yep.
It wasn't Callahan. So, hey, man, that's all I had to say. Hey, as always, Chase, Big Joe, good talking to y'all, man.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you.
Good points, Mark. Makes good points. There's just so much to grasp here. So I got something. I went and found the biggest turnarounds within 2 seasons.
Okay.
In the NFL. We're going to go down the list, and there's a common theme, a denominator on these teams that I want you to figure out because it's pretty eye-opening.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line. Driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. Continue to weigh in. We'll get to more of your texts, more of your calls coming up next, plus the Brett Eldridge tickets as well. It's Chase and Big Joe presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
How did that hurt to lose, and especially some of the missed opportunities on offense?
It sucks. Got to be better in the red zone. I feel like I played one of my cleanest games all year, except for 2 plays where we could have scored on both of them.
That was Will Levis after the game yesterday. It's very appropriate. 10-6 the final. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 the game. Larry says on our text line they need to hire John Gruden. No, thank you.
Oh, I think it would be a great hire.
5724. Why are we so high on Mike Vrabel? What is his job this year? If he does get a head coaching job, it will be on a bad team.
Huh? What?
I don't know.
Because the coaching is so bad in the National Football League.
He's a good coach.
And he did pretty well here.
You people, he's
Yeah.
a good
Now,
coach.
did his time run out here? Yes.
Yeah, his time. ran
Everybody's
out.
got a shelf life.
But like, all right. What do you have? The quickest turnaround.
Oh my God. Okay. Sorry, buddy.
No, that's fine. I'm not gonna do this today.
So we talk about the 10 biggest. This is kind of a 2-year window. Teams that are 1-15 or back they 1-13 that have turned it around really good. All right. So one team to turn around, the 1981 San Francisco 49ers. 2 years previous, they were awful. What'd they have? What did they draft? Why were they good in 81? You know why?
Montana.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
So you got that. So you're going down the list. 99 St. Louis Rams were awful in 98.
Yep.
Trent Green blows his knee out. What do they get?
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner.
But that was pure luck, and you know it was pure luck.
Hey, I'd rather be lucky than good, brother.
Right.
I'm telling you right now. Don't do that. 2001 New England Patriots were okay in 99 and 2000. Why were they good in 01?
Brady, but again, pure luck.
Just stop with that.
I'm gonna say it,
Just
whether
stop.
you like it or not.
All right, the other team on the turnaround here was the 2003 Carolina Panthers. They were 1-15 in 2001, right? So what do they do?
Jake Delhomme.
Jake Delhomme, very underrated
Yeah.
quarterback. They lost the Super Bowl. Probably should have beat the Patriots, but they didn't.
And
But
that Steve Smith and
Steve's not on that team.
was he not?
Mm-mm.
You sure?
Positive. Sam Mills. They had a lot of good second
They
chance
had a good
guys.
who was a good receiver?
Kevin Dyson was on that team.
Was he?
And was it Mushid Muhammad on that team too?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yep.
They had. Hang on, I want to answer this.
Yeah,
real
do
quick.
it, buddy.
They
2003
had-
Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, Musha Muhammad. Steve Smith was on that.
Was
team.
he from
He
Utah
sure was.
State?
Yep.
Was his first year?
Maybe he had 1,100 yards, 88 catches,
Jeez, what do I know?
7 touchdowns. He
All
was
right.
24, so probably. Jermaine Wiggins, they had him. Seeing if anybody. Julius Peppers was their stud on defense.
Not bad.
Yeah, pretty good team.
Does it show Casey Kramer on that team as a fullback or tight end? Former Titan player.
Yeah, I remember him. He's not listed as a starter, but he might be.
Okay. All right. My bad on that one. All right. The Bengals. Bengals were awful 19 and 20. What'd they get?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. And they turned it. So there's a theme here with all this, with your quarterbacks and second chance guys. The 98 Falcons turned it around within. They were 3-13 in 1996, and they turned it around in 2 years. Now, I'm not going to give the credit to Chris Chandler on that, but seasoned
I
quarterback.
think Dan Reeves probably had something to do with that.
I totally agree. 100%.
See, here's the other thing. Go back on this.
Okay.
Give me the coaches. So
Dan
Walsh would
Reeves.
have been for the 49ers.
Zach Taylor for the Bengals, John
one
Fox
quarterback.
for the Panthers,
I think John Fox is an underrated coach.
Belichick, Dick Vermeil. You got
Yeah.
coaches who have been through
Yeah.
the ringer.
The only one in that list is Zach Taylor.
Yep, you're right. I mean, I'm not going to go through. We'll go through the top 10 real quick because it's interesting to see how these things have done this. 7, 2018 Los Angeles Rams. They were awful under Jeff Fisher in 16. He got fired. You bring in the man, McVay, turned it around, little energy in that program, and they get it done. So there are signs that you can do this, and they did it with drafting and really good free agency. Another team that you enjoy, Chase McCabe, the 1991 Dallas Cowboys. They redid the entire franchise with Jimmy Johnson. They did not win the Super Bowl in 91, but you go back, they were awful in 89. I think they were 1-15. In 90, they were
Traded
7-9.
Herschel Walker.
Drafted Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman. Boom. 98 New York Jets were terrible in 96 when Bill Parcells, he took over that team, got them to the AFC Championship game in 98. And
Was that Vincent Testaverde?
that was Keyshawn Johnson, Curtis Martin, a lot of things. But you know, there's a good, solid quarterback there. And then the Colts in 99 flipped around. They had Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison. It can be done, but you have to have a foundation. Titans do not have a
Yeah,
foundation.
but okay, so all the players that you named, most of them were draft picks.
Yep.
I mean, Peyton was a draft pick. Edgerrin James, was he a draft pick?
He was.
Yeah.
Marvin
was a draft
Marvin
pick.
Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, so the foundational pieces are built through the draft.
Yeah.
And that's what, this team has not done in the last few years. I mean, they've tried, but
Well, you look at a team like the Rams. Look at Puka Nacua.
yeah, this is what, a 5th or a 6th round pick?
Yeah. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you talk about lucky. Give me lucky all day long, man. Give me
But
lucky all day long.
That's where I think you rely on good scouting and then good coaching. You have Titans were lucky for a long time that you had Mike Munchak, that he could look at a guy and go, yeah, I can work with that. Like, draft him. I can work with that.
Yeah, right.
You had Jim Washburn on the defensive side. I can work with that guy. I can make him good.
That's what I took the job here. I was like, I was looking on the roster.
You looked at me and said, I can work with him.
I can get me in there. We can make things happen. Go in there. So
Can turn him into
not
from a
all the
2-star to a
future
5-star.
is bleak, but at the same time, I don't know. There's not a foundational piece. Is there a foundational piece on that team? Don't give me Jeffrey Simmons.
I think J.C. Latham can be a foundational piece. I think what I have seen from him is a good player that's a rookie. That has he gotten blown up a few times? He has. But I think it's more of he's a rookie. He's making mistakes. He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get smarter. The game's going to slow down for him. I think it's really interesting that, and this is apples and oranges, but a few weeks ago when I was filling in on Preds pregame, I talked to Zachary Leroux, who's a rookie for the Preds. And at that point, I think he had played less than 10 games. And I said, is it starting to slow down for you? And, what the answer I was expecting was, yeah. He goes, a little bit, but I think it's still going to take some time. And I really appreciated that honest answer, because I think so many times, no matter the sport, we think, okay, you give them 3 or 4 games, it'll slow down for them and they'll be fine.
Right.
It takes a lot longer than that. Like, I think for a player like Latham, it was going to take the whole season. And working with Bill Callahan and he's got really not a lot of help next to him. So, I mean, and I'm not just talking about Skoronski. I'm talking about the whole line.
Right.
Like, he's got no help. So I think he is a foundational piece. Simmons should be a foundational piece, but I don't know if he is or not. I don't think he is.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think it's so hard to find offensive linemen?
Because nobody truly wants to play that position. Like, prime example, I'm a big guy, right?
Yep.
Tall, got some pudginess. When I was in high school, all the coaches were begging me to play football because I was big.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, where am I going to play? Oh, you make a great right tackle. I'm like, I don't want to play right tackle.
Right.
I don't want to play the offensive
No.
line. You know why? And I don't mind admitting this. I didn't want to get hit. I didn't.
Don't admit that.
Well, sorry. I am.
Okay. I'm telling you.
That's what, it's not a sexy position.
It's not.
It's not fun necessarily. Now you play the left side, you'll get paid. You'll make money. Right side's not bad. Like, you can make money doing it, but nobody wants to do it because it's not. Nobody talks about the offensive lineman.
And all right, there are 130 Power 4 group of 5 football teams. Okay, so there's offensive linemen. So you could do the math. Nobody wants to. I mean, it's hard work. There's no glory in it.
Yep.
My best friend is a 30-year collegiate offensive line coach, and they have problems in college finding this. You go to 7-on-7s in the summer, kids love that, right? We're the linemen. They're working out. And so it starts back to high school. Nobody wants to play the position. But when you find guys who want to play offensive line, you got something. Like, to me, I have a hard time wondering why Dylan Raditz isn't any good. I watch his college tape. He's powerful. right? Take the power. You can take the power to the next level. And don't tell me because he didn't play SEC guys each week.
Yeah.
One of the best offensive linemen in the history of the NFL is Jackie Slater. Where'd he play? Jackson State. You tell me that because he played at Jackson State?
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't matter.
So it's not sexy anymore. You know, there's a high school coach that I know close to us who, when they did workouts, said, all right, we're going to see what position do you want to play. He had like 20 big guys went out to receiver. He had 3 went to lineman. He went over and said, no, about 18 of you need to come over here to the line. Nobody wants to play it anymore. It's just a tough position, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So why can't you find linemen? There are reasons you can't find linemen because nobody wants to do the job. It's like Jay said, it's hard-ass work, and you get no glory for it. And we're in the glory world now, and that's what this is all about, man.
100%. 615-737-1025. 8586 says, you're going to sit there and say Caleb Farley is not a foundational piece?
Yeah, right? And that's the other thing. Stop drafting injured players. Stop.
I will never forget Tim Hasselback coming on the midday show when they were talking about Caleb Farley, and he goes, let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever met anybody that says, I used to have a bad back? And the moment he said that, I just kind of sat there and I went, huh.
Oh.
That's a really good point.
Oh, that's a great point.
I was
Have a bad back.
I think at that time I was taking Dad to the doctor, and we kind of looked at each other and we're like, you know, he's on to something there.
Yeah, right.
5353 Simmons is all talk. He's overrated. So I think a lot of people kind of feel that way at this point.
But there's something.
Can't run on the Titans. Yeah, you can. We'll have more of your texts, more of your calls, more reaction to the Titans and their loss yesterday to the Jags. 615-737-1025 is Chasing Big Joe. 1025-1063 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Reaction Monday. Taking your calls and texts, 615-737-1025. 1483 says, I know this is a homer text, but name me the last Iowa offensive line bust draft pick in the NFL. Look at certain collegiate programs for drafting.
Got something there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got something.
You're going to see Iowa at the Music City Bowl.
That's right, you are. That's why I'm telling you, don't take Alabama quarterbacks anymore.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's some places that they're just kind of known.
Yeah.
You know, some are known for receivers, some for offensive linemen, you know, some areas. I mean, Iowa kind of makes sense. You're going to get the big old corn-fed Midwestern boys.
And just plow. Let me ask you this. Last 30 years, what college is receiver U?
Now, that's a good question.
Go down positions. What college is receiver? Last 30 that have done work in the National Football League.
LSU.
I mean, LSU's had a few. Bama's had a few. I mean,
USC.
Bama had a Heisman Trophy winner.
They did.
Ole Miss has put a few out. They've been pretty good.
All right, let's go. Okay, let's go back the last 10, 15, 10, 12 years. This is better because it changes every 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee used to be known as that. They're not anymore.
No.
I mean, the SEC, I would say the SEC as a whole has put out a good chunk of receivers. I mean, Odell was LSU, Justin Jefferson's LSU, Devontae's Alabama, A.J. Brown's Ole Miss,
DK Metcalf.
DK's Ole Miss.
Who's the guy that peed on the goalpost? Plays for the Giants. It's really fast.
Oh,
Not Malik Neighbors.
No,
You said
no.
the Giants.
that maybe he's not with the Giants. Maybe
no,
he's
he was with the Jets.
Jets.
Was that Elijah Moore?
Yes, Ole
Okay.
Miss.
Yeah.
You're right.
And he's not with the Jets anymore.
He's with the
somewhere else.
Browns.
Browns. Yeah.
still in the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Calvin Ridley is Alabama.
Calvin Ridley's on.
Um,
Jerry Judy.
Jerry Judy's Alabama. Who is that? Just
Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper's Alabama.
I will say I think Alabama might be the team that
Alabama probably has the most in the league right now.
yeah, and also for longevity purposes in the NFL,
Yeah.
those are the guys you want to go for.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then how about you go to offensive line? I mean, it could be. I mean, it's anywhere. I mean, so there's certain programs. 1483. You are correct on that. You go to and like, all right, here's proven that's going on, but. I mean, you find diamonds in the rough. I think John Robinson tried to be really cute and find diamonds in the rough like that.
You
and-
found a good one from Indiana.
Yep.
NWI.
Found a good one just down the road in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, so you can, but don't get too cute with all that.
I think you have to do both. And that's been the problem. I think John Robinson was really good at finding the diamonds in the rough. I think Floyd and Jeff Fisher were really good at that too, but they also were good at hitting on McNair, Eddie George, Dyson, until he got hurt. Curse.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to hit on your first and second rounders.
You do. And you talk about, we were joking about being lucky, but a lot of this goes in. I'm like, Javon Curse fell in their lap. We played the audio from Floyd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got lucky at 16 or 15, wherever it was, it fell in your lap. And then again, the flip
You'd be
side,
like, thanks, Richie.
the flip side of that was they really wanted, who's the dude that blew his hand off in the fireworks?
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Jason
Yeah.
Pierre-Paul. Titans really wanted him, right? And so the Giants took him there and they ended up taking Derek Morgan, who was below average at best player
He was not
for
a
a
good
while.
pick.
So it happens and you get lucky, man. And you get these guys. I mean, you talk to Chris Sanders about, I don't hear any more for the 99 team. I get it. I understand all that. But you look how easy they built in 96, 97, 98. They were building, Chase. I mean, you had Eddie and
And
Steve.
that has been the problem.
And you built up. And then you add a generational player like Javon Curse, who I've never seen dominate football his first year like he did in 1999. And it can happen. But does it happen a lot? No. But it can happen.
Tell me the draft picks, the first, second, and I'll even give you the third round draft picks that are contributing to the Tennessee Titans right now, whether it's blowing the doors off or not, but contributing.
15, nobody's left. 16, it's nobody's. 17, they're all gone. 18 was an awful draft with Rashawn Evans. Good guy. Harold Landry's at 18.
Landry's one.
And he's like,
Landry might be the best one.
Simmons has shown he could be a game changer and just doesn't show it enough at 19.
Amani Hooker's a 4th-round pick who's been pretty good, but
He's not
first
bad.
3.
Yeah.
I'd put Jeff. I mean, look, Jeff, is he underwhelming at times? Yes, but does he contribute? Yes. I think the answer to that is yes.
And then you just go on from there. I don't know.
2020, no. 2021, I mean, what is Radence at this point?
Do you have the 21 draft in front of you?
Yep.
Who was? Give me again who those guys are.
Caleb Farley,
Gone.
Dylan Radence, Monty Rice, Elijah Molden, Des Fitzpatrick, Rashad Weaver, Racy McMath, Brady Breeze.
Terrible. Although Molden now is starting for the Chargers.
Yeah, he's 3rd. He was pick 100. But and you got Radence is starting. Radence is playing, but he's not very good.
He's not.
2022, Traylon Burks, no. McCreary, he's okay.
He's okay.
Petit Frere's terrible.
Terrible.
Malik Willis isn't on the team anymore. That's 3. 23, Skoronski's not very good.
Bad.
Levis is okay. Tajay Spears has been underwhelming.
Yep. I thought he'd be a lot better than he was.
I don't think they know how to use him. J.C. Latham has been okay.
Mhm.
Tavondre Sweat, need to see more.
Yep.
So, I mean,
too
that's
early on the 24 guys.
I'd agree with that.
But there's a reason you're in this predicament because you drafted really, really bad. I mean, go back to the 20 draft if you don't mind. If you could pull that back up. I know Isaiah Wilson, and and they blame a lot on COVID because you had to rely a lot
Everybody
in 20
else.
on the position coaches and Kirby down at Georgia and Sam Pittman lying to Vrabel and them. Who else was 20?
Christian Fulton was the 2nd pick.
What happened to him and Vrabel? I know the soft tissue thing. Did Vrabel does not like him?
Yeah, I don't think Vrabel liked him.
It's like when your best friend starts dating a girl that you really like, and then you're like, I hate her. Is that one of those things?
Darrington Evans was a terrible pick.
Terrible.
Then no 4th. They had a 5th, Laurel Murchison. Cole McDonald had a farm, and then Chris Jackson. It was a 7th-round pick.
Cole McDonald, who was he from?
He was a quarterback from Hawaii. But here, okay, on that, wasting a 7th-round pick on a quarterback,
I'm
whatever.
fine with that.
Whatever. Again, I go back to Floyd said this one day to Jared and I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. He goes, if I could have gotten away with it, I would have taken a quarterback every year in the draft. It didn't matter where, but I would have drafted a quarterback every year if I could have gotten away with it.
Whew. Boy, there's a reason you're in this predicament. You're a reason you're here. I mean, it's just, but you know what? I just, in my mind yesterday, when they're getting beat 10-6, I just go back to and I'm going to have to stop doing this. And I apologize, friends. The moment they traded AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And I've talked to our good friend, Mike Keith. We've talked about this. And when they got news that he was like, what? Like, no. And it was so out of our mind, like this could happen. And it did. And then I think, is that the moment? You talk about when Ralph Wiggum, you could see his soul leaves his body. Yeah. Is that the moment when Vrabel I'm serious question.
When Vrabel walked out of the room. Yeah. I mean, I think that's when everything changed. That they traded AJ. Because I will never forget, we were doing our draft show at 3rd and Home over by the Sound Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared and Derek and TD and Chris are all on the air. And Robbie looks at me and I look at him. We see it at the same time. And I'm like, are you bleeping kidding me? And I wave. Jared looks at me, looks up at me, and he's like, what? And I tell him to take the headphones off. And he looks at me and goes, what? And I go, they just traded AJ Brown. And he's like, are you kidding me?
Same reaction, right? No, down the board.
And they did it. So, and I knew we will never forget those words from John Robinson. I don't foresee doing that.
Do you think, and we can talk about this the next hour, but he had to call her. He had to call her, right? She owns the team.
Yeah.
And say, ma'am, what do we do here?
Oh, I think he presented to her and said, this is what they want. And she said, we're not going to do that.
Well, what should I do? Trade him.
I
You
don't
don't
even
like
no,
him?
I don't even know she had to say those words. It's just when she said, I'm not going to do that, he then said, okay, then we're going to trade him.
Well, then he had to get trade approval. Then he had to go back to her
Yeah.
and say, Amy,
He probably said, well, then I'm going to have to trade him. You do what you think is best.
had she, we'll talk next hour. Had she said, all right, sign him up, where would we be now? Next hour. I want to hear everybody talk about that. Because damn it, we're getting to the root of this problem today.
That's a great question. They don't lose 10-6 to the Jags yesterday.
No, they don't.
I don't think. Oh, man, that's a great
They
question.
were the number 1 seed in 21.
Yeah.
You were the number 1 seeded team going to the play. I know you didn't win it. I get all that. But you were the number 1 team. You had 90-something players you brought in 2021.
615-737-1025. It is Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Reaction Monday. Titans fall to the Jags 10-6 at Nissan Stadium on Sunday. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier behind the glass as well. Taking your reaction to the Titans losing a awful, terrible. I mean, they had prisoners out there as part of punishment watching that game yesterday.
Good Lord.
It was terrible. It was that bad.
What's that bad?
Awful.
Interesting.
All right, so you just brought up the AJ Brown thing, and what if? Gator Tim says AJ Brown played 46% of the snaps in his 3 seasons with the Titans. They couldn't pay him $22 million a year. The Eagles are seeing that now. He's been injured a lot in the past 2 years. He has 46 receptions for 778 yards this year. Buddy, I would take that all day long right now.
No, it's not about. This isn't about stats. I mean, you got Saquon Barkley on that team.
Yeah,
who's running wild.
I would take 4. I mean, he's going to get over 1,000 yards. So I would take 46 receptions for 778 yards.
Interesting. 1277 says, Amy traded him. I sat next to her and her family at Sam's place the next day, and she said she traded him because of the way he acted. I have a photo to prove it, to prove the way AJ acted or the way you sat next to her. Ask Jason Fitz. I texted him immediately after. Amy traded him because of the way. Did I miss something? How he acted? Did he get in trouble? Did I miss something?
Well, this is the Twitter stuff.
Okay. Again, did I miss something?
Based on a conversation I had, that text is not off base.
So she was at Sam's place.
I don't know if she was at Sam's place, but I know how she felt.
She's been around the National Football League her entire life. She's just now discovering egos. What in the world? What in the world?
I think I didn't realize it at the time, but it was when I had the interaction I had, it was apparent of, she's going to make knee-jerk reactions. Because there have been more since then.
Walk us back. What do you mean?
Well, okay, whatever.
Jim.
I was at an event. She was at it. It was right after the draft. Talked to her for a second, talking about the draft. She was like all excited about the draft. And I made the comment of, I do kind of wish it had worked out with AJ Brown, though. Well, we just couldn't have that. The way he was acting, he was acting like it was bigger than him. We just couldn't have that.
You're just now telling me this story?
Well, I've, not wanted to really say that on the air.
Conversation you had in an open forum. It wasn't like it's not like this was pillow talk. Right?
No, definitely was not that.
In an open forum. So let's to find a problem, you got to find the root of the problem. This goes back to the root of the problem.
I don't think, and this goes back to Bud as well. Bud didn't want to pay players. Bud wanted to, they would, get to their, where you had to cut the check and he let him go because he thought he could just replace him.
Right.
I think she thinks the same way. I think that she looked at it as he's running his mouth on Twitter and running his mouth, in interviews, and he wants to get all this money. Now, do I think Philadelphia overpaid him? Yes, of course they did. But guess what? That's kind of the price of doing business sometimes. He could have been the best receiver this organization has ever had. The best receiver this organization has ever had will be on in about 50 minutes.
Disagree. Haywood Jeffries was better.
The best receiver the Titans have ever had.
Thank you.
All right.
I will 100% agree.
We'll be on in about 50 minutes on this station. AJ could have been, who knows,
right,
with this team. And would that have kept the window open? Probably. But they didn't want to deal with it. And that's their prerogative. But here's the thing. Does AJ Brown get in trouble? Did he get arrested?
No.
Did he cause problems like that?
Nope.
No. People I've talked to have told me he was a tremendous teammate.
That's right.
He just liked to bitch and moan on Twitter.
Like, don't we?
Isn't that kind of what it's for?
Don't we all do that too?
Isn't that what it's for? And so at the end of the day, Wouldn't you have rather have taken a little bit of that and a little bit of just chirp, 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 run that mouth, but you're still getting a guy that's going to be productive for you?
I agree. And it's also like, well, he's not going to tell me what to. He's not running. I run this team.
Sure.
I run this team. You're not going to do that. And when the news came that he was gone, I was like, what in the world's going on here? And he gets to the Super Bowl. He torches you in the game in 22 and all that. I think right there showed that she has no clue what she wanted to do. Now, you could have still negotiated and said, we'll figure this out together and do all that. Negotiations are open. The guy had been 3 years in the league. He'd proven that he's pretty darn good. And then she stepped in and did all that and to trade him.
Sure. And look, there's a lot that I don't know that happened behind the scenes. There's a lot that we don't know that'll happen but behind the scenes. Like Logan just texted in 615-737-1025, our phone and text line, Joe Rumo, WilsonCountyHonda.com. Are you saying that JR took the fall for Amy? I think, yeah. I think that he ultimately went with a decision that knew that she was, that was what she wanted at the time. And then,
here's how
it came back and bit her.
She was full of garbage. Did he not sign an extension, John Robinson, going in?
She signed John Robinson and Mike Vrabel to extensions after the 2021 season. Fired John 6 months later and fired Vrabel a little over a year later.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have put yourself in this position. And, she's there. She's at every game. I respect that. Her dad didn't do that. She was there yesterday. She saw that.
What else she got to do?
She saw that BS on the field. Like and here's the thing. Yeah, you can sit here and go, all right, coach needs to coach better. Players need to play better. Rand needs to draft better. That's fine. You made all those decisions to put those people in those places.
Don't her and Callahan have like brunch on Mondays together?
I don't know, and I don't care. Like, I'm serious. I am so sick and tired of hearing everybody in that organization go, well, Miss Amy, yeah, I sit down and have tea and crumpets with Miss Amy on Monday. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't. Right. All I care about with this football team is them being a good football team.
I like you getting hot.
That's what I care about.
Keep going, man. I like this.
Amy's a nice person, great person, from what I can tell. Brian seems like a nice person. Rand's a nice person. But right now, they all suck at their jobs. And I'm sick of it. Everybody's sick of it. I sat here all week. I mean, now you've really opened it up now.
Yeah.
So be great.
I like this.
I got a football team that can only score 6 points. I got a hockey team that spent all this damn money in the offseason. They can't do crap with
They're
it.
terrible.
What's the soccer team doing? Are they in the offseason?
Offseason, they're rebuilding something.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest.
But
I don't care about them.
Yeah.
They weren't good.
No, they weren't good.
They had to fire their coach.
I mean, we live in a world where Vanderbilt is the talk of the town besides Tennessee, but of the teams in Nashville,
right?
Vandy's the talk of the town right now. They're going to a bowl game, and I'm happy as hell about that. But like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of less than mediocre. I mean, that's what this is right now. Like, how does this? The Preds, I can't explain. I don't have an explanation. The Titans, poor leadership. That's what it all boils down to. And the only person that can truly change that is her. And at this point, I don't even know how she changes it, because if you're a competent now, if you're an ex-GM that's sitting out there and you want another bite at the apple, you'll take the job if she calls. But is she going to do that? Is she going to call a Rick Spielman or or a Thomas Dimitrov or not Tannenbaum? She probably would. Damn it, Joe. You just put that into the universe.
Isn't that a Christmas song? Tannenbaum?
Probably. But I'm sitting here going, I wish she would hire a former GM with experience. Our freaking luck, she'll hire Mike Tannenbaum.
All right, here's my question when we come back in a few moments. She calls in today. Ask me anything. We've done this before, but we've changed our answer. What's the first thing you ask Amy?
Why did you fire John Robinson?
But don't save it for the...
Okay. Well, you got me fired up.
Yeah, I like this. Your veins are popping. You're mad. You're bossing people around.
Feel good. I feel good. 615-737-1025. It is Chase and Big Joe. Nashville's best deal this week. 312 Pizza Company in Germantown. 312 Pizza serves the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. Check them out at 371 Monroe Street in Germantown, or order takeout online at 312pizzaco.com. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals to get half off a $30 gift card to 312 Pizza Company while supplies last. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Monday. A little fired up today on this Reaction Monday. Brett Kern going to join us in about 10 minutes. Titans lose 10-6 to a crappy Jacksonville team, just making your team that much more crappier. That's what they are. Josh and Donaldson, I love this text. And Josh, thank you for listening. Thank you for texting in. Y'all, we have an NBA team in the state that's killing it, a college football team that got screwed but made it to the playoff, and another college team in Nashville that's headed to a hell of a bowl game. Can we talk about something besides the Tennessee Titans? He doesn't say Titans. He says something else.
I know.
Can't read it.
Josh,
Josh, I'm going to just be real with you. A majority of the people in this city don't care about the Grizzlies. I wish they did. I'd love to talk about the Grizzlies. They are killing it right now. They're fun.
You're being nice. 99.9%.
They don't care.
The city does not care about the Memphis.
They don't
Grizzlies.
care. College football, yeah, they care about that, and we are going to get to that. But unfortunately, chaos is what people like talking about, and the Titans are nothing but chaos right now.
It is. Here's what I want to say real quick with the college football playoffs. You people are acting, and not you people. I'm talking about you guys are acting like Tennessee is going to the North Pole to play a football game. There is a 4 to 6 degree difference in temperature between Columbus and Knoxville. You are not going to Antarctica to play a football game minus 40, where you see the Empire of the Strike Back, the big horses. What do they call those big things that move?
Oh,
Where they are.
Tauntauns.
Yeah, something like that. You're not playing. Now, I hope it's a blizzard. That'd be fantastic. But stop acting like you're going someplace where it's going to be 100 below. It's not. Saturday night in December, it's supposed to be cold. Wear a jacket and a hat. I'm sure you got that. Stop bitching about that.
Yep.
Go play football and win. You think the players at UT are complaining about that? No, they're not, because they don't care. You shouldn't care either. All right, I'm done.
Okay. No, we will discuss the playoff, and Alabama. My advice to you is don't lose to 2 6-6 teams. Strength of schedule should count more. I agree.
Does it?
It doesn't, but it should. I agree.
SMU
100%.
goes 7-5 in the SEC. Don't sit there and say they
nope,
don't.
I 100% agree with you.
Well,
but I'm telling you why.
No, you got to win your
I'm
games.
giving you the why.
Yeah.
That's why. If they beat Oklahoma, they're in.
Yeah, you're right.
Or if they don't get destroyed by Oklahoma, they're in. Like, that's just the brass tacks. I'm just telling you the why. You can hate the why. Don't get mad at me.
Right.
But that's why.
Okay.
So I think they're going to learn a lot from this year, because I believe that the bracket overall is underwhelming because of some of the decisions that were made. Do you like the automatic bids with conference champions? Boise was fun to watch, but Boise's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, Penn State's going to take it to them.
Penn State's going to beat the you-know-what out of SMU, and then they're going to beat the you-know-what out of Boise, and then they're in the semis.
That's right.
And Jimmy Frank is
walking right in.
Somehow weaseled his way into something else.
Hey, his team took Oregon to the wire. And I know Boise played Oregon, blah, 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 get all that.
Okay.
But then Boise had to go out and play San Jose State the next week, whereas Penn State was going to play.
Who should be pissed is Oregon.
Yeah,
because
right.
Texas is going to beat the crap out of Clemson.
Uh-huh.
They're going to beat the crap out of Arizona State. Then they're in the semis. Oregon has to face the winner of Tennessee, Ohio State,
right?
Which is neither one's going to be easy.
Correct.
And then they got to turn around and play Texas. So you're going to have what should be 1 versus 2.
Yeah.
Basically. And then you got Penn State has a good path. Georgia's isn't easy. I mean, Notre Dame will probably beat the crap out of Indiana, and then I think they'll give Georgia a game.
Yeah. Look, the anticipation yesterday I had for the unveiling was great. I mean, I was driving back. It was great. I just need Kirk Herbstreit to shut up.
You don't like Kirk Herbstreit.
And he even made it more an asinine statement about there needs to be one central office that determines schedule for all the football. Kirk, shut up. Just shut up. I'm tired of you. You do great game analysis. That's fine. Stay in the stadium. Don't go out the stadium. It's a dumb statement with that. But look, it is what it is. And now you play. We can gripe and moan all day long about this. And you're right, Alabama, don't lose to Vanderbilt. Don't get destroyed at Oklahoma. Win the games. I get all that.
As for Tennessee, I understand the argument. That game should probably be in Neyland. So I think the only reason that it's not is because it's Ohio State.
And Herb Street said this is bad for Ohio State because all the fans are going to be booing Ryan Day on Friday night. On that Saturday night, they're going to be booing the team. If you go on the road, you don't have to worry about that. So Herb Street basically saying, don't play in your home stadium, but go on the road where you won't get booed. What do you think Neyland would do to Ohio State?
Oh,
the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
but
another
here's the
dumbass
thing.
statement about Herb Street.
If Tennessee goes in there and beats Ohio State, which I do think they can.
Right.
I don't know if they will, but I think they can. If they do, moving vans are going to be parked on Ryan Day's lawn. And he might actually get fired.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if that's fair, but life isn't fair.
66-12, you're firing a coach. 66.
But you've
they
lost,
lose.
but you've
I'm
lost
telling you, I know.
5 in a row to Michigan or whatever it's been.
66-12.
Yeah.
And if you can, we had a guy the other day that says they win one game and it's Michigan every year, I'll take that. No, you won't.
Dude, if you or I took the job at Auburn and the only game we won every year was Alabama, we'd be there for life.
But you know it's not happening.
No, but I'm just
Stop being
saying
crazy.
but that's how those rivalries work. Like, you know that. If you took the job at Ohio State and you went 6-6 every year, but you had a win, you beat Michigan, you're set.
Okay.
That's just, whether that's right or wrong, that's just how it is.
It's the way it is, man.
That's just the way it is. All right, back to the Titans. Coming up next, Brett Kern going to join us, give us his thoughts on the debacle yesterday. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel. We are a little fired up today, so we say hello to Brett Kern, former Titans punter, who is with us. Hi, Brett. How you doing?
Oh, what a time to come into the program, I guess, huh?
Yeah, you know how it is. I mean, you lose 10-6 to a bad Jags team, and this is kind of what happens. And you and I were texting as we usually do during the game. And look, I don't think Will played his best game. I don't think he played his worst game. I question a little bit of the play calling and maybe getting away from the run that seemed to be working earlier in the game. I definitely question trying to go for the Hail Mary at the half that, he ended up getting hurt on.
Yeah.
But but overall, what was just kind of your takeaway of yesterday's game?
It's I think the frustrating part is that yesterday, they won all three categories. The QBR, the rushing. I mean, you got 2 turnovers. That gives you 82% chance to win the game, which is those 2 turnovers, right? And I think obviously, going over 2 in the red zone, coming away with 6 points. In essence, there are 4 main drives, right? It amassed for 48 plays, 247 yards, 25 minutes, almost 26 minutes of possession, and you come away with 6 points, right? That's just the red zone. The red zone got them yesterday. If you're not going to score touchdowns, you're not going to win many games. So, they turn over on downs twice. If you take both of those, you get 2 touchdowns, you get 20 points. Is that great? No, it's not. But you win a game, right? And so I think that's just frustrating. You could say the holding call on Dylan Radins, like, hey, he cost us a touchdown, right? So it goes 2nd and 14. You're back. It's 2nd and 14. But then what happens on the next play? Well, there's a PI on Jones, right, on the Jags. So now all of a sudden you get 1st and goal at the 4, and you don't come away with the touchdown. So you run 8 plays in the red zone, 6 of them from the 4-yard and in, and you have Will Levis, missing a wide open Chig. And I think the thing that got me a little bit on that was that after the game, you kind of heard his interview. And what did he say about that play? He said, well, I just saw the first thing that was open. Meaning, to me, he knows he does not have a lot of time back there to go through his route progression, right? That's what that means to me. So for him, he saw the first thing open. Well, I'm going to go hit that person, right? He couldn't take that extra half a second to look and see Chig wide open. So I think that's there's another issue. There's some other issues that are underlying in kind of yesterday's game.
Yeah, and I don't know where they go from here. I mean, you're 3-10, obviously no playoffs. You kind of got to start looking to next year. But what do you think the state of the locker room is at this point, especially after losing a game that, I mean, even with the way your season has gone, you probably should have found a way to win?
Yeah, I mean, you're playing for your job. You already know that, roster turnovers 35%-ish, right? Every year you're turning the roster over. Sometimes it could be 40, sometimes it get even closer to 50, which is a lot. That's huge. You have a lot of guys that are, playing on the last year of their deal. I've been through that where you're, going back to the Wiz years where you're 2-14, 3-13, and you're out of the playoffs early in December. But you have to have some sense of pride to go out there and perform, to do your job, either to have the Titans sign you back, right, or another team, because teams they're not looking for players on teams that are 2-10. That don't have a winning record at this point in the season, right? They're trying to get guys, free agents from teams that are winning. And so you really have to stand out on film, and there's pride. Like the whole, like I said, we've talked about before, the whole tanking thing. I mean, obviously you guys are in the business of trying to get the best ratings in Nashville in your time slot. And, let's say for whatever reason, you guys are struggling. You're not, right? But are you guys going to tank on the show so you can say, hey, there's some young kid,
right,
coming out of Knoxville that's supposed to be, man, he is supposed to be a stud on the radio, right? No, you're not doing that, right? And so it's the same thing. I think you saw that yesterday. Guys are playing. They're playing hard. They're not a great football team, and I think they can be, but the problem is they're just inconsistent.
Brett, what is the absolute worst professional football game you ever played in? Does one come to mind?
I tell you what, there was probably plenty in those years that we only won 5 games over 2 years. Yeah, I mean, I try to erase those memories. I think the only thing that I remember out of the year that we went 2-14 is I had my longest punt at the end of the season. I think there was maybe like 10,000 people in the stands, and we were playing the Colts, and Josh Cribbs was back there. And I think I only hit it like 45 yards because it's cold, and the thing rolled like another 35 yards. And so my longest punt of my career was, you know, I think it was 78 yards, and it rolled for like 40 in the last game of the year against the Colts. So I try to erase some of those games, and because it's not fun. I mean, you're going to work and you're losing games, and it's tough. But you have to keep grinding. You know, I had a family. My wife and my kids depended on me, and you know, I also wanted to go out there, perform, and do the best that I can. And so I think a lot of guys are in that same situation.
Did you ever hear, you know, when it was really bad in 14 and 15 and things like that? Did the GM ever come to the locker room and talk to you? I mean, did you want him to? Did you need him to? Did he ever come in? No, yes?
Not. I mean, they were around the building. Everybody was, you know, at St. Thomas, all the offices are there, all that kind of stuff. So you see people around, you know, but it wasn't necessarily like, you know, I'm having lunch and the GM's going to come over and just have a heart-to-heart conversation or anything like that. So, but I mean, you see them around. You know, I don't know what it's like over at the building right now, but you know, everybody knows where their offices are, and you know, everybody sees each other. You know, I mean, when John Robinson was GM, I mean, he came to every meeting, right? And you talk to him in the hallways, sometimes about football, sometimes just about life, right? Your kids, you'd ask about your kids and all that kind of stuff. And so conversations are had. I don't know how much those guys are kind of rolling around the building and talking to guys.
So you're looking now, you're 3-10, you got 4 games left. You know, the season's over with. I mean, is this, not to say to lose the locker room, but is this where tempers flare? Is this where you get upset, or guys checked out? I mean, I haven't been in that locker room. You have. I'm just curious the mindset with 4 games to go when you just came off the worst game I've ever seen played in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously being there before, I think there's just a lot of guys in that room that are so competitive. And then you also have some guys that are probably coming from programs where, you know, if you got a guy that went to Ohio State or some of these big programs, and they only lost 4 or 5 games in their whole college career, and then you come here and you've doubled that amount, you know, and the season's not even over with, and you're just used to winning. And so I think I hated the feeling of losing more than loving the feeling of winning. I hated to lose, and so that was tough. And I think you have a lot of guys that are probably like that. You don't want to lose, and you're playing on national TV, right? Primetime game, no primetime game. Your games are still televised. People are still in the stadium, and you're losing, and it's embarrassing as a player. You know, sometimes you walking around town when we're going to play in the AFC Championship game, you know, at Kansas City is a lot different than walking around town, you know, after a game like yesterday, right? And so it's frustrating. Guys are competitive. Guys want to play. Guys want to win. You have some guys, like I said, on contracts, right? And they're trying to play to get another contract, whether it's in Nashville or if it's somewhere else. So there's just a lot of emotions going on, and I think it's important for Brian to kind of keep it all in check the best that he can.
And that's certainly going to be easier said than done.
It's hard. It's not, you know, it's not easy because you have some guys making $20 million a year that are facing, well, wait a second, are they going to just completely reload and am I gone? Do I have to find a new place? And you have other guys like, I mean, you look at like Mason Kinsey, right? The dude is, I mean, I've never seen somebody work as hard as he has, and he's been active, practice squad, cut here, there. I mean, he's been all over the place. And here he is, you know, yesterday returning punts. And like this guy, you have more of those guys than you do of like Big Jeff, Calvin Ridley that are making, you know, larger contracts, right? And kind of the concerns that they have potentially compared to somebody, you know, like Mason and guys that are just, I mean, they're just fighting for paychecks. And so they just want to be able to play. They want to be able to go out there, put their stuff on film and see what happens next year.
Did you ever think, you know, looking obviously in the moment, you don't know how this is going to go, but looking back at when really this tailspin started is when the organization traded AJ to Philadelphia. Did you think it would get this bad?
I don't know. Like, I thought this year, you know, seeing how the Titans were playing in the preseason, and granted it's the preseason, but seeing, you know, the offensive line at times. And, you know, I remember having that conversation on the radio of the Titans going down, you know, to New Orleans and having almost a flawless first half. And you're thinking, yeah, this is pretty good, right? Can they sustain this? But I mean, you know, trading AJ, I mean, it was tough to see AJ go just because, you know, we were buddies, had conversations, you know, I loved watching him play. Right. But yeah, I don't know. I just hope that if anything, Miss Amy, if you started getting into this trend of when things don't go right, you just start firing people. There's other organizations to look at that have done that, and it's just not good, right? I think we know those organizations and what they look like, and I just hope that, because she's a great owner. I've had a lot of conversations with her. I just hope it doesn't come to that. So there's obviously a lot of questions. I was looking at quarterbacks. I think Will Levis can, obviously be the guy next year, right? And then you look at all the quarterbacks that are available, and it's just like, okay, you bring somebody in for competition, but like, is your guy out there? I think, last week we were talking about, I think there's just more guys that this team needs to be able to build around somebody like Will.
Going to be interesting to see for sure. Brett, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, joining us here on the program. We will come back and put a bow on things with what day is it and celebrity birthdays. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Before we get out of here, you can, I'll give you the cue to qualify for the Brett Eldridge tickets. So be listening for that. And DVD will continue the conversation on the Titans and much more. Brian Callahan's scheduled to speak at 12:45 today as well. And we'll get into, as the week goes on, more college football, the Preds. Things not getting much better there. We'll do that as the week goes on. But with that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have Christmas card day. We're getting to that point in the season.
Good. Did you do a Christmas card this year?
Yeah, we do one. We don't do the e-ones. We do the actual physical
that's
paper
nice.
copies. You know,
Good for you, Nick.
We also let's see Green Monday. So, not sure what Green Monday is, but
Is that when you got like allergies and your snot and everything?
sure,
Okay.
might as well, right?
Yeah.
We also have International Anti-Corruption Day. So,
Yeah.
Probably
Stop
good,
that.
man.
let's see, International Day of Veterinarian Medicine. So there's that.
Good.
National Llama Day.
Love a llama.
Llamas, they got the long necks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They also, it's a good children's book. Llama, Llama, Mama, Mama.
Yeah.
All right. You know, too.
All right. National Opal Apples Day. So that kind of looks like a Granny Smith, but National Pastry Day is next. You can mix that,
Ooh,
make an
love
apple
pastry.
pastry. There's that. Yeah.
Yep.
Wear Willie Day. So Weary Willie Day, excuse me. Did not
Here
see
in
the
10
Y there.
minutes, right?
Weary Willie. And then last on the list, we have World Techno Day.
Ah.
So
Techno's good. Chase used to tour with Moby back in the day.
really?
I don't like to talk about it.
No. Because you get beat up by Eminem. All right. Time for celebrity birthdays. Got to get these within 2. We got some really good birthdays. I'm excited about today's game. Our first birthday is Dame Judi Dench. How old is Dame Judi Dench?
85.
80.
90. She's got 8 Academy Award nominations.
She's awesome.
She is Beau Bridges, older brother of Jeff. Beau Bridges.
Didn't we just have Jeff Bridges' birthday too?
We did.
Beau Bridges, I'm going to say 74.
65.
83. The talented John Malkovich.
62.
65.
71. That's doing good today. They call it puppy love. They also call it Donny Osmond's birthday. How old is Donny Osmond?
74.
72.
67. You guys are awful today. Jacob Dylan. Fun fact about Jacob Dylan. He's Bob's son, but he's got 4 children, all boys.
There you go. 47.
52.
55. You got to get something. Actor Chase Michael Dorn, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Mr. Worf.
Mr. Worf.
73.
70.
72. Chase did it. Got on the board there. Singer Sylvia, who lives here in Nashville. Big song back in the 80s.
71.
64.
68. I'll tell you, the default there, what I told Jake Lyman, the default, and Mr. 80s. Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives.
50.
54.
62. Lead guitar player of Weezer, Brian Bell.
49.
53.
56. Good Lord here. Rapper Cannabis.
43.
52.
50. We're tied at 1. All right, we're down to 3 last ones. PGA golfer, the legend, Tom Kite. How old is Tom Kite?
67.
72.
75. Still tied at 1. We're down to 2. Former NBA player, World B. Free. He's like the first guy who changed his name to something outrageous. World B. Free.
What did he used to be?
Lloyd something Free.
60.
58.
71. We're down to the last one. This game here is like Titans Jags.
Yeah, basically.
It's awful. And here we go. Last birthday. Chase, you got to get this one. Kurt Angle.
Oh. The Olympic gold medalist, our Olympic hero. Kurt, 50.
53.
Oh, he's 56.
Oh, dang.
Miss it by one. I'll give you one more real quick. I know we got just a little extra time here. Let's go with hold on, don't go anywhere. We're doing all right. Yeah, we're doing good, Dave. Thanks for asking. Let's see here. Businesswoman, TV personality Lori Greiner. She's on Shark Tank. Or is it Griner? On Shark Tank. I don't know who that is.
57.
61.
55, chasing the buzzer win.
There we go. All right. Caller number 3 at 615-737-1025. You will qualify to win a pair of tickets to the all-inclusive Eurostone Club at Bridgestone Arena to see Brett Eldridge on Friday, December 20th. This contest is supplied by Green Trees Company, a family-owned cannabis company and dispensary. Check them out online at greentreeswithazcompany.com. We'll select the winner on Monday, December 16th. And Green Trees Company is located in Hendersonville in a new location in West Nashville. Caller number 3, 615-737-1025. Good luck. That will do it for us today.
Big fans of Green Trees. Hey, listen, we have a lot of fun on the show, and we hope you're having fun too. And look, if you're struggling going through some things, we all do this on your cell phone. You can dial 988 or you can text 988. Please talk to someone. I know we say it all the time. If you're going through something, you need to reach out. Please reach out to that number or reach out to us. We're always here for you. And your journey, we say it all the time, is a beautiful journey, but it's your journey. It's not perfect, not supposed to be. But know this. Know that we love you. And more importantly, God loves you. Know that, please.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. DVD coming up next. 1025, 1063, The Game.